Yo, and welcome to another episode of Crate 808, the 90s hip-hop podcast that is here to serve all you heads who are missing the golden era. And today we've got a very special guest. We've got Mr. Dan Lish, a hip-hop illustrator who's worked with the best of them in the game, including Raekwon from the Wu-Tang Clan, Cypress Hill and De La Soul, just to name a few. And also he did the Ego Strip illustration series that many of you may have seen, but you actually didn't know the man behind them. Well, here he is. He's sitting down with us, and this one's special to my heart. This one's close, man, because first of all, it's my first interview I did for Crate 808, and I've travelled to Brighton to go speak with him in his home, and such a lovely bloke, really down to earth, really insightful, man, and just he's been there, he's done it, he's been in the game since day one, and seeing the whole culture transform. So yeah, man, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Boom. I'm here with Dan Lish, the hip-hop illustrator that kind of goes viral more than most hip-hop illustrators I've seen. So I don't know if you know that, Dan, but welcome.
Oh, that's nice, thanks.
Welcome to Crate 808.
Thank you, yeah.
So how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I'm very tired from going to see Idan and Homeboy Sandman last night.
Okay.
At the Jazz Cafe. It was great. And I got back all right, but my girls will wake me up at 7 a.m, so that's why I'm a bit tired.
Yeah, how were they? Homeboy Sandman.
I thought you meant my daughters then. Yeah, they were brilliant. One of the best shows I've seen in many years.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember I remember his album from I think it was the 90s or early noughties. He was like really blowing up then.
Loved it, yeah.
Yeah,
it was that sort of ironic silliness as well, but it was just funky as hell. I used to have this guy I used to break with in New York. He was from Boston, where Idan is from. Oh, wow. And he said, I don't like that kid because he always used to be at house parties in the corner with his headphones on in another world.
Really?
And they used to wind me up where he always wearing his headphones at parties and stuff like that. But that's his what he says. I don't know if that's true or not, but I was like, no, he's good. You should give him a chance. He's amazing at what he does.
Yeah. He's lasted a while as well then.
Yeah,
Somebody well. Okay.
Because he was in his early 20s or something when he was starting. Yeah. Something like that. And it just grabbed me straight away.
Yeah, and Homeboy Sandman, I don't think he's dropped a weak project. I've heard so many of his last, what's the one with the album cover and it's all underwater and it's like a pool he's under, but that album I loved.
I'd never heard it. Never heard it, no.
Oh, right, so you just went on the strength of Idan to the gig, did you?
I've got the Humble Pie, EP, which was great. And then I thought from that, I'll backtrack a bit. But I've only just tickled the surface, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. So first off, to kick everything off, tell me, what is the least hip-hop thing you've done in the last 24 hours?
Wear this roll neck. Cleaned off, what are those walnut shells off my daughter's bed? Because she crushes them up for her hamster Pip. Oh. And that's also not very hip-hop name. And Pip. Well, there is that thingy Pip. What's his name with the big beard? Scroobius Pip.
Oh, Scroobius Pip.
Yeah,
yes.
It's a Pip.
Actually, so it's kind of hip hop.
It is now. It is, isn't it? So I've got a hip hop hamster. Anyway, yeah. So Christ, and I was going to be all sort of earthly, sort of off grid, and say I just got my spring water from the Downs, but I haven't because I'm so tired I couldn't be bothered to get it. I'm going to get it tomorrow morning.
So you go down to the Downs?
Yeah, we get 25 or 30 litres of spring water a week from the Downs because it's had 60 years of filtration through the chalk.
And the Downs is what for the listeners?
South Downs is the big rolling hills. It's now a national park. Yeah, so it's beautiful hills.
Fresh spring water from there.
That's right.
I don't think anyone's going to beat that this series. That's got to be the least hip hop thing.
And I think that's it. Yeah.
I was thinking about this on the way down myself, and I can't beat that. Mine was I had a cup of tea and I put way too much milk in it, and instead of just being like I'm going to reset that, I'm going to have a proper builder's tea. No, I still drank it.
Yeah.
I drank the really milky tea, which I thought
it was going to say it's hot and wet, but it's not even hot.
No, it's just milk. It's kind of just milk.
Yeah.
You think
that's a gesture.
It's a gesture of tea.
Yeah.
So I think we've both kind of nailed that, really. Right. So Dan, before we go into like your work, which is incredible, this is a podcast mainly about 90s like culture, the decade that was for me instrumental in getting into the culture of hip hop.
Right.
So I was wondering if you could name me a few of your favourite 90s things, and they could be anything.
Oh my God. Right. Alan Partridge.
Alan Partridge is a huge shout.
Alan Partridge. Eurotrash.
Oh,
which
wow.
I love that.
Channel 4.
Because you're guaranteed to see nice girls or weird girls, naked girls.
Weird naked girls on Channel 4.
Which you wouldn't see really anywhere on like terrestrial TV.
Go on.
Hellboy comic. I love Hellboy.
Yes.
My mate's comic shop, Mondo Comics, which I used to just... Because I had a little... I'm jumping all over the place, but I had a little bout of homelessness as well.
Okay.
So I used to hang out at his comic shop all the time,
Wow.
cut people's hair, and he'd buy me a sandwich, and I'd read all the comics.
That's such a brilliant anecdote. That's amazing. And where was that then?
That was in Portsmouth.
That was in Portsmouth. Wow.
South coast of England. Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Pirate radio show, which I did for about 8-9 years on and off. That was a big part of 90s for me.
Wow, okay. And that was playing hip-hop, breakbeat?
Yeah, it was, because it was that sort of whole true school thing, getting back to the essence and the roots of it, because the corporate tentacles were starting to get in there and big labels were affecting people's lyrics, and if you don't tone down this, or you don't simplify your lyrics and all this stuff, we're going to kick you off the label or whatever.
Yeah, so Pirate kind of embodied the stuff that wasn't going to get the mainstream, really.
Yeah, so I just felt very passionate, obsessive about it. So doing the Pirate Radio, first with a crew, and then when just arguments and all that stuff, I just went off and did my own thing. And still carried on doing the radio show, and it was the True School Rap Show on 105.5 FM. So that, I'm pleased to know that sort of influenced a lot of kids younger than me as well, which are still doing their thing. Anyway, I digress. What else have we got here? Just practice, because the True School thing, and just getting back into the b-boy thing, because that's how I got into it. Mm-hmm. So I met Adam from Second to None, who's like the legendary UK crew that won the UK championships 3 times in a row and all this stuff. But I used to practice with him a lot. So that was a very big part of the mid-90s for me. Hanging out with break DJ Lacey, and this started changing where I would just hunt for break beats or get really into the breaks, not so much on the rap thing. It started to change mid to late 90s for me, big time.
That's interesting. So you went from... So were you breaking? You were breaking? Yeah. You were, freestyling, rapping?
No, I couldn't touch a mic. I sound like an idiot. I just never. I did try it in about 1985, and I haven't touched it since. It was horrible.
So you were DJing?
Yeah. Okay. And mumbling on the mic. When I do the Pirate Radio show. I'll be stoned a little bit as well. Okay. So that's probably why I was mumbling quite a bit. Yeah.
I don't think you were the only one, to be fair, in the 90s. I think you may have covered every element of hip-hop. I think you're the only person I'm going to get on here that's actually gone from... So you've braked...
Well, and graph as well.
And graph.
I was heavily into the graph.
And graph and DJing. Yeah, wow.
But we're still on the question of...
favourite 90s things?
Yeah, but I haven't finished yet. Sorry.
Alan Partridge still wins, by the way.
Yeah. No, I think you're all right. And sketchbooks, because of... I didn't want to get a regular job and being on the dole and all that, so sketchbooks were a really big part of... for me in the 90s.
So sketchbooks being like...
getting a black book and instead of graffiti outlines, just getting stuff out of my head, sort of like stream of consciousness stuff, just any funky characters or any little themed little narrative I'd run with and just experiment, because I was trying to get into comic book illustration, so sketchbooks were very poignant for me, so I wouldn't slip into depression, and also... a creative outlet, as well as the dancing and getting quite obsessive with the collecting the beats and all this stuff. Still quite obsessed with hip hop, but the sketchbooks were a big thing. Do
you see like a thread in your work now? Can you see like...
of course, because I was honing the muscle memory, I suppose, for sort of the line work and everything, and being influenced by a couple of artists, I suppose significantly Mobius from France and Robert Crumb from America.
Robert Crumb,
they had this sort of very laboured, especially Crumb.
Crumb was,
laboured and crafted line work to sort of slowly build up what he had in his mind. That was starting to come.
Have you seen the documentary on Crumb? That's kind of dark.
It is.
Very dark. You kind of see where it comes into his work.
And I was watching it with one of my old friends, Dreff. We were really tight. Nikwe, who's very good on the he's always been a hardcore writer, but he's been doing these incredible large murals, like spray can murals.
Okay.
But I was watching it with him because we were really tight and we used to dance together and do the radio. And I was watching it with him and I didn't realise how Crumb would be so vocal about, black folks just like all of them walking around with radios. Is the sort of stuff he was saying.
Yeah.
And I was sort of like, I said, yeah, that is quite messed up, but give it a chance. Let's see where it goes. And it just got darker. And then he met his brother, and it's horrible.
Oh, the brother things. So if anyone hasn't heard or heard of, well, first of all, if you haven't heard of Robert Crumb, you should go check his work out. It's incredible. Yeah. But if you do watch the documentary, it gets very dark very quickly. Yeah. But fascinating how an artist comes out.
You can see why, and it's a little bit the same. It's escapism and an expression where you could see why he'd maybe just even psychologically get into all the crafting because it would take him somewhere else and he'd stay there for a long time while he's drawing just to maybe get away from that bleakness or whatever was going on.
That's interesting inspiration. So we've done the 90s things.
Done that,
but you touched into like going to New York and stuff like that. So if you can go back, like how did you get into hip hop, the culture?
Well, this was about 1983. And I just, parents split up. I moved to Thetford in Norfolk and I met my friend Arif Razak, and he got me into hip hop as well as, because his brothers were from Croydon Soul Patrol or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was that, and also my dad's American, born and bred Brooklyn, New York.
Right, okay.
So he used to take me to the air bases and I used to get little snippets there of just people messing about, but I didn't really understand anything because I was very young. This was sort of 77, 78, 79.
So in 83 you were like really getting into it?
Yeah. And also things sort of, like Malcolm McLaren, Buffalo Girls and Rocksteady and little snippets you get on top of the pops. Some bloke doing a forward caterpillar dressed in white. It looked awful now, probably thinking about it.
But he was on top of the pops.
Yeah, because you get entranced about this other world of older teenagers and young adults doing all these mad dances to... Yeah, sort of you're intrigued, but also a little bit sort of like, ooh, it's a bit dirty or something. I don't know. It's just weird, that is your access to.
I've heard a lot of people say
what your older brother or sister's up to.
Yeah,
you'd look at the older teenagers. Oh yeah, so they're dancing to this or they're getting into that. It looked sort of exotic and strange.
Exotic is a good word for it. No, it's true. It's especially from the UK standpoint. It's exotic, strange, but I hear a lot of people say it's scary. Like when they first heard hip hop, and I think more. For my generation being the early 90s and mid-90s.
Well, it's more developed then, and it sort of came at you. And
it was hardcore.
Harder.
Yeah, it was a lot harder.
But if you put it into context with the music, the tune that really grabbed me by the kahunas and thought, yes, this is it. It was Planet Rock. And the message, and that just threw me out into the stratosphere. I thought, and just threw me back down. I can't really put it in a good analogy or something. It just shook me to the core.
Yeah.
You put that into context with some of the crap that was on the radio, and when those tunes came out, it just wiped everything clean on commercial radio or any access you'd get on a radio, or we had a little black and white telly or whatever. You know what I mean? It just came out, and let's put it this way. Back in that time in Thatcher's Britain, it was horrible. It was quite bleak,
grey,
and then this came through as a spark of like
just colour,
I
suppose,
and just dynamics and attitude and rawness and against the grain and a big finger up to the system and all that. And I didn't really see that then, but looking back now, that's what really did it.
Because it's interesting when you say that to me, because I was thinking about this the other day about like when those guys came out, look how they're dressed. It's otherworldly, it's vibrant, it's colourful. And then it went through when I got into hip hop, it was very much more, this is your uniform. And it was like a uniform. So it was like Timberlands, baggy jeans. And then obviously people started having...
It went a bit more earthy coloured then, didn't it?
It did. That's a good way
for in the UK.
Yeah.
There was a lot of brown, blues, beiges,
loads of brown. Loads of brown. It was like brown beanies, brown backpacks.
Carhartt jackets, Timbs and all that. Yeah.
Exactly. And then now, I know hip-hop seems to have gone another way where it's like, oh no, people are colourful again. Yeah. So it's a weird like cycle. It's gone from like Bambaataa and like The Message to where we are now. But so that's interesting. So I didn't know that your dad took you to these air bases, so you must have seen like the different cultures there.
I went to New York in 77, but all I remember, I was 6 years old, and all I remember is the subways being so hot I just couldn't breathe. And I saw Star Wars in Brooklyn, which is brilliant.
Wow.
And my dad told me to stop running like a girl. And those are the main things that I remember.
That's brilliant.
I had my Paddington Bear t-shirt on and my brown socks pulled right up to my knees.
Wow.
And, so you're only 6 years old.
But look at that. Look what comes out of that.
I think a lot of boys run like girls at 6, don't they? I'm just in my own defence.
I think I definitely did. Don't worry. I'm with you, Dad. I'm with you.
Maybe I had my hands in my pockets while I was running. But he's very blunt. He's a Brooklynite and he's Jewish, so he's going to tell me that.
You're running like a girl.
Yeah.
Oh, Dad. So saying this, let's get on to the New York thing. Like, so I heard you lived in Shaolin, Staten Island, right?
Yeah.
So tell me how that came about. Like, how did you get
cheap rent? I went to Jersey City first, and so many chaps had their knobs out having wheeze everywhere in the snow. It put me off Jersey City. And
really,
my cousins said, go to the superintendents, the supers, who sometimes live in the basements, just knock them up and say, have you got any rooms to rent? Instead of going to the people that own the buildings. And so I went there, lads having pisses all over the place. So I left Jersey City and went to Staten Island.
And how old were you here?
I wasn't young. I mean, I went to the States in my late 20s.
Okay.
So, it was, I wasn't... People did say, why don't you try London first before you go to New York? And I just thought, no, I'll just go straight there because I had the dual nationality, from
of course, that worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Did you get more immersed into the culture when you were over there? Do you think?
Of course, yeah.
So
you're right in the motherland. If analogy I always use, if you go into the essence of kung fu, you don't go to Sweden. You're right there.
Yeah, it's the Mecca.
Everyone and their grandmother's rhyming, but that's right. Another reason why I probably got put up off the rap side a little bit more and went deeper into the roots, because you can talk to people, and this is 15 years ago now, that were already in their 50s, who were dancing in the late 60s, part of gangs and all this, direct access to all this. So why not just go straight to the very root of it and pick their brains and bug the shit out of them? Suck everything out and just be completely obsessive.
So what you're, but the way you saw it then, so it's like these, so you're in late 60s, early 70s, people who are in gangs, they're the people who kind of pushed hip hop forward, and you saw it from there, and then obviously you have the graph, you have the break-in, you have...
But they still had there's that funny little, where they escape time in a way, that love for it is still as pure as when they were for 12, 13, 14 years old. But it was from the mid-70s. Yeah. So it doesn't translate very well 35 or 40 years later. Yeah. So you'll get a lot of guys that are still very passionate but pissed off. Probably because the corporate thing and there's so much money in it now, you get billionaires out of it and all that, and they've just been pushed to the side. But they still have such a love for it. Yeah. So the story, you've got no choice sometimes but to hear the stories, because they need to get it out. Yeah. It's like a big of all this,
The whole culture is corporate. It's pop music now. So it kind of is like the most popular...
I wouldn't say the culture, I'll disagree.
Sorry, no, not the culture, sorry. Yeah. I meant the actual music itself is pop music now. So the music that's being made... So I have Spotify for streaming. So I was on there, and it collates what you listen to in the year. I was kind of really taken aback when it collated, the algorithm collated it all. It said your most listened to genre was pop rap.
Right.
And I was like, pop rap? Well, first of all, I've never really heard the term pop rap. Yeah. And two, I was like, oh God, I really have to realign my thinking on where rap is right now.
Right. Well, it is the biggest pop music. It's pop music in America.
Yeah,
that's the way it is.
And that's it. And I think that the way the music's gone has gone into the mainstream pop culture stratosphere, but the way the culture is, for me, it's almost like
I'd say it's still very healthy. Yeah,
it's as rich.
You've just got to look harder for it.
That's it,
and not be dictated to by the subliminal tube, aka the television.
That's it,
or just the overload in information that we get nowadays, and all these algorithms and all the Google shit and all that saying, listen to this is great, but no, I don't want to. Yeah, it gets quite sort of
overbearing.
No. I can't think of the word, but you've just got to be diligent and not be led all the time.
If you remember the energy you had as a teenager, or like in early 20s, the energy you had to find that music when we were growing up, it's about having the time and energy and dedication to find it. So now I feel like the culture, personally, when I go onto Instagram or something like that, all you need is the right hashtag. You can find the right hashtag. You find amazing graffiti artists or amazing battle rappers, or breaking now is another level. So Dan, you did Raekwon's album cover for The Wild, 2017, 2018. So tell me how that came about. Because first of all, it's a brilliant album cover and very good album. So,
Thank you. He just said, I think it was through Instagram or might have been WhatsApp or something like that. He just said, "This is Raekwon. I want to talk, or hit me up now," sort of thing. Okay, so I sort of giggled like a little person. I better bring him up now. Karen, I want a cup of tea. No, it's just, I just did it. And right away, as an English person, I got so conscious of my accent.
Really?
Because he sounds exactly the same as on vinyl, basically, or you're listening to his music. Yeah, of course. It's just that obviously he's talking. Mm-hmm. He just sounds exactly the same. So it makes me very conscious of the way I'm talking. And then I can't really think of what I'm going to say. And it's a very strange experience. You just get used to it after a while, because I'm not, in the industry where I'm dealing with these people all the time. I'm just on the sidelines, very happy about that. One, it might break the illusion if they're going to be an arsehole. I don't really want to know anymore, because it might affect the way I listen to their music. For sure. No. But he was a very nice man.
So he just found your work then? He just found it on Instagram?
I did say, his manager did get, tell a lie, I just remember now that his manager got in contact with me a year previous and said, we love your stuff. Mm-hmm. Ray wants an album cover. I didn't hear anything.
Right, since
then, and in that time he released another album with the one with the Sphinx thing on them.
Yeah.
I can't remember the title. And then he got directly in contact, and then we spoke on the phone and all that. And I did say, so how did you find my stuff? And he said, it was quite cheesy, really, but he said, yes, it's in the streets. And I was like, what do you mean? It's not on... Well, I didn't say that. I was like, okay.
I just saw it on the street, someone selling knockoffs.
Yeah, it's very, yeah. So, and then then we got to the nitty gritty about what he wanted, and it was quite hard to get, it was getting a bit cryptic, the direction. Mm-hmm. And I just have to say, you have to say to a point, say, look, I don't understand what you're saying anymore. Yeah. You're going to have to give me better direction.
Right, that's it, yeah.
And he says, I want something more like this, which he showed that MF Doom, the second one that I did, which is sort of quite trippy and out there anyway. So
is it the one where everyone's got a Doom mask?
That's right, and they're walking or skipping in a little field, and there's an old sort of gramophone sucking a pipe or something like that. And I went, okay, cool. So then I started to do all this sort of, I twisted the cityscape like in that film, what's that Leonardo DiCaprio
Inception,
film? So I twisted the city as he's walking through it on this massive unicorn horned white lion.
Yeah.
he's no, it's just not. So I did 3 or 4, and then I did him as like this massive sculpture in the jungle, because he told me the wild. Mm-hmm. So I started to incorporate this and did him as a massive sort of megalithic sort of sculpture with all these lions sort of and animals from the jungle. And he just, no, it's not really happening still. So I did have to work quite hard to get.
Yeah.
And he said, look, in the end of the day, I mean, he left it up to me, but he said, look, just put me in the middle of Times Square. That's going to be the jungle. Make me look like a silverback gorilla. So I did that.
Yeah.
And his management said, no, because that's going to give the wrong
impression.
Like a big monkey type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I halved it. So I morphed his face. He was still in his goose down and all that stuff, and his Clarks, his Wallies.
Yeah.
But the face. So in the end, we just went straight with his face, and that was the way it was. So he wanted to be morphed as a sort of an animal from the jungle first of all. And so that's why the gorilla thing.
But I love the detail on that, because I can see the jungle thing, but the detail like the little rats doing stick-ups in the bottom of it.
I said, what do you want in it? He said, pimps, prozzies and stick-up kids. Not prozzies, because they don't say that.
But
all that stuff. And it was Crime Square, not Times Square.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were just bouncing lots of ideas around, either on the phone or mainly through WhatsApp, and it was a very nice process and generally good communication.
So Raekwon on WhatsApp, what's his profile picture? Cuban links?
No, I think it's just a mugshot of him.
Is it?
I'll show you later on.
I just wanted it to be him just chilling out, just chilling out in the lounge or something, just with his feet up,
Yeah, well, I'm trying to. I'm still in, still in general contact, and I'm working on some stuff with him, which isn't announced yet.
Okay.
But as a trade, I said, can you write, for the book that I want to do a collective thing.
Oh, okay.
It's something we could talk about later on or whatever. But so he might, trying to get him on board. He said he would.
So is
this
been book...
tumbleweed for a couple of months, so I don't know what's going on.
It's a rapper, isn't it? I think the rapper's timing is so, So is this book anything to do with the ego strip?
Yeah, it's all that. It's the first 2 years. And,
wow.
And then, so there might be sort of 3 volumes.
Again, go search out Dan's work. Ego Strip is like incredible. It's an incredible just collection of all the hip-hop monumental artists and the way Dan's inspired to... It's just fascinating artwork, as in like very detailed... It feels like you can get lost in it. Well, I have. I've got lost in it for a long time. It reminds me of when I was a kid and do you remember Terry Pratchett books? So Terry Pratchett's artwork on his books, you could look at them for ages and there'd all be lots of things going on. There'd be like little...
On the covers.
Yeah, on the covers. And it's like there's already... Not only are you seeing the overarching theme, you can go in and there's all little narratives, there's little stories being told. Like Raekwon's album cover there's these little stories that you could probably make a rhyme on each one, could make a song about each one of those little things. Is that something you look to do, or is it just something you're subconscious? I don't know. How do you go about like encapsulating all that?
I've got little narratives that I bring into it, and a lot of the time the illustration is only sort of 50-60% to do with the artist, and it's just a good way for me to explore other themes, and it could get quite cosmic and like esoteric and occult, not in what we believe to be what we've been told is satanic, because that's just the mainstream. Occult means hidden.
Okay.
So it's hidden universal information, which I do explore lots of way out things, and I can put those into my illustrations, because for me it's all relative. It's our human experience, no matter where you're from on this earthly realm, and it's the creative process that we're all going through to create music, art, anything that I'm exploring. That's interesting. Or celebrating. So it's probably completely, you thought, I don't want to do this anymore. He's going to talk about some really crazy shit.
No. It feels like we're going to just...
But that's what, when I say that, and I was talking to some friends, I said, I didn't know that. I said, well, yeah, but this is the way. It's quite therapeutic for me. And I can, not just that, I can explore things. And when the emotion, it's like you're a conduit for something else, for something bigger.
Okay.
And a lot of it is freestyle, the stuff that I'm doing.
Wow.
Well, all these you see here, they're all just pen to paper on a train. So I'm in a lovely bubble.
Wow.
And I've got to deal with the rocking of the train and just people, it was all around you or whatever. Yeah. But it's a very special thing when you're in that creative moment right there. You're not being, what's the word, sort of sidetracked or... people looking at your bloody phones all the time and all this. Your
focus is solely on that.
It's many levels. I don't want to say it probably does come across as pretentious or whatever, but I suppose it's got to be in a way, because it's very subjective and it's got to come out somehow. And it's like 30 odd years of hip hop that is in me, is going to come out, and it's all been very natural, organic process.
So the way you're talking there is it's almost everything I've read and heard and talked to other artists. That kind of same thing is when you're challenging b-boys. It's like when you hit the zone and you want to try something new and you feel like I can do this right now. You're so focused in on it. Same as graph writing. I've heard freeform graph writing can get to that point where I'm just going to go for it. There is no going back. I'm just doing it now. There's no eraser. Yeah. I just go for it. And same as battle rapping or freestyling. And freestyling in the sense that I've watched a few interesting videos recently on YouTube about what does the word freestyle actually mean nowadays. And I feel like pre-written verses are just passed off as freestyle. from the late 80s, 90s, you know, DMX, Jay-Z have gone and been like, oh, we're like battlers, we can freestyle. But I remember going to like hip-hop shows here, like the Raw Organics in Cambridge. I don't know if you've ever heard of that place. Or there's a few battles you go to, and freestyle being purely off the top of the dome. And it feels like that same kind of energy is what you're talking about when you are when you're illustrating something.
It's a little bit different because I'm not in front of people that are staring at me for specifically that reason. So you'd have that other added pressure.
For sure.
That's why I was always crap in a battle. I think drawing battle, what's that thing on the walls? The secret walls. I think I'll be up for something like that where it's an art battle. But if it was dancing, I feel so bad.
What's this art battle? I've not heard about this art battle.
It's Secret Walls is there's a London one, there's one up north, there's one in America and all that. You just get a load of artists, and I think they're quite. I mean, it'd be good to get involved, but I think they're quite. If you got like 100,000 followers, they'd rather get that type of person in than just someone who's got the rawness or whatever. Just you know what I mean. So I don't know. They might be a bit sort of like biased to.
But something I'm going to check out. That sounds really interesting.
Sorry, I'm just going all over on the tangent. But
no, it's absolutely fine. It's what Homeboy Sandman does to you.
That sort of the drawing aspect of it is fine, but if it's physical movement or rhyming like that, I just don't know how. Because being an old b-boy, when it came to battle, I would just freeze. I just couldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't come out. My wife was better at dealing with that than me.
Oh, did she freestyle then?
Yeah, she used to break and up rock and stuff like that. So she was great at that.
Proper hip hop family we got going on here.
Yeah, sort of. Well, she wouldn't really bother now because she's, you know.
How about your two daughters?
I don't throw it on them, but they, Elsa does have a little. Backspin now and again. Well, I'd actually fling her legs around, to make her back. No, it's I don't throw anything on it, and I just appreciate their own journey.
Yeah,
it's important for them, not for me, just to
for sure
chuck it on them.
Yo, this is Rodney P, the Rhythm Killer, big blood clot things with Inna, you heard me? Yeah, and we're here listening to the Crate 808 podcast. Big things is going on right back to the early morning. If you don't know, get the blood clot. No, you feel me? Yeah, big old man Cam every time. People. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And remember, subscribe it, rate it, review it, and go on and tell your blood clot friends. For real.
So Dan, we were talking about Raekwon and Wu-Tang Clan. So on the podcast, on Crate 808, what we like to do is talk about our favourite Wu-Tang tracks that no one that kind of slept on, like the slept on bangers. So have you got any tracks from Wu that you think that people need to listen to more?
Not really.
No.
I remember, I think Westwood had a couple of the crew on there, and Raekwon was beatboxing some of the tracks, but man, it's such a distant memory. To be honest, after the first LP, when RZA said he started showing off and being a big head, saying I can just make hip hop classics in minutes, and everyone's gonna spread out and do their LP. I was quite disappointed.
Really?
Yeah, I loved the way that they were just, you couldn't see their faces. I loved that because that harked back to when I didn't know what these people looked like, and it had that sort of mystique. So when Wu first come out, and I would play it continuously. That's why I've never been a big fan of videos, with the video thing as well.
Okay.
And so I really can't answer that question very well.
It's good to know that your point of view on Wu, because that's interesting. Like the mystery and the mystique was the thing that sold you, because for us
it was too much. Everything we're going to just be everywhere, and that put me right off.
Wow.
The same as Nas after his second album, when he said that went back to one of the points I made earlier. The label told me to adjust my lyrics and my music. It puts me off. I'm like, fuck that.
Do you know what,
it's
Dan?
not good.
Do you know what, Dan? No, but it's true. First of all, he made Nostradamus, which is probably one of the worst hip hop albums of all time. So I think that I completely agree. Nas is a weird case for me. Nas comes to the point where, first of all, Illmatic's my favourite album of all time.
Yeah.
It has it's pure hip hop. So I was watching this. I was reading something on online the other day about 1995, the year hip hop died, and it started talking about the Source Awards. You know, you used to have the award show and stuff like that, and the East West Coast beef, which was like a big thing back then. And I thought the article was really going to go into how East and West Coast became a massive mainstream. You'd see it on CNN and news, and on the front of the Mirror and the Sun, you see like East West Coast rappers. Actually, the article delved a little bit deeper, and it said Questlove was sitting there. Half the crowd are East, half the crowd are West, and he said you can see them all fighting. And he said the thing that intrigued me the most was Nas. He said Nas was in the front of the crowd, and he just slumped. He just slumped lower and lower into his seat as they kept announcing more and more awards in '95. And then slowly it dawned on him: I'm never going to get an award for Illmatic. Like, everyone else is getting awards, Doggy Style here, or Biggie's getting one there. And apparently, Nas, one of the big takes from that is the fact that Nas realised in '95, do you know what? I can make the pure hip hop. I'm never going to get the recognition I want. Yeah. So there, you see a massive step from his second album.
You just have to water it down to get more. If you want more money, you water it down.
And that's essentially what he did.
Unless you just keep, it's a huge topic, but unless it's just sex and murder, and drugs and all that. And
see, this is the thing. So I have a weird conflicting thing with it, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have got into hip hop, because it was more available. So I could go to HMV and I had more albums, and I could dig in to the crates and then find the premieres and the Pete Rocks and stuff like that, and the Dillas. But what's interesting to me now, when you look at like 90s is probably a really hard time to come out and be pure hip hop, because the mainstream was so blowing up then. It still is now, but MF Doom never has ever, for me, compromised anything. MF Doom to me has stayed the way he is. Madlib has stayed the way he is. Dilla did the same thing. And I feel like nowadays it's almost like you can just cut your little niche of a few 100,000 people like you or more and be happy with it. But back then it was almost like, well, no, that's not enough. That's not a gold record. That's not a platinum record. So you're not going to get any more money.
When is it enough?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to ask yourself that in this materialistic shit. It's just, come on. I don't know. Look, if you're asking me, I'm an Anglo-European man. I've got a different perspective on things. It's very subjective again. But if you want to get to the essence of something that really I jumped on, no matter what, it really just, I loved it. It became, I was very passionate with it. You put a lot of emotion and your time into it.
Yeah.
You're going to be quite sort of protective over it. Well, I know it sounds a bit silly and immature, but that's just the truth of it. True. And so when these artists that come out and you think, oh, that's great, it's on another level, it's taking it somewhere good. I love it. It's like the foot in the roots, but it's looking out there to sort of, you know what I mean? I can't explain it, and then, oh, by the way, we're going to take over the world, or we're going to, we just want more exposure, more money. I can understand it, whatever, but in an artistic sense, it's bollocks.
So, in all your artwork, you focused on the legends of hip hop, right? So I just need to ask you before anything else.
Not necessarily though. Some of them aren't.
But I think you can look at them and they've had an impact in the culture.
Yeah, they've all had an impact on me.
Yes.
Again, it's subjective. For some people, they won't know obviously who they are because it's generational as well. Yeah. There might have been one independent 12-inch they put out, which had such an effect on me. I loved it, and it still resonates to this day. So I'll draw it.
Yeah. So maybe legend's the wrong word, actually. It's just like people that have impacted you.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, similar to me. Like, I look at it and I think I'm a little bit younger than you, but they still have affected my kind of attitude towards the culture. So when I see all the people I love in your artwork, I've just wanted to ask you when I met you, what is your top 5? Like your top 5 MCs of all time?
It does change.
I think everyone's
on a yearly basis, but
so
I'd say Hardhead from School of Knox.
Okay, I don't know him.
It's great. I mean, it's probably not everyone else's cup of tea. But he's just a wicked lyricist, and his flow, and he's got a lot of charisma. But I think he was quite slept on myself.
Okay.
Patent Lock,
yeah.
Doom, J Live, and Melly Mel.
Oh, J Live. Oh, Melly Mel. Yeah, Melly Mel's a great shout. J Live is a great shout. No one talks about J Live, Like
he'd probably hate it, but because everyone says he's so underrated, but, because it's just really, how can you say it? But I think Jazzy Jeff was saying, how come no one knows about him?
Yeah. It's true though.
He does the thing, he doubles up as well. He's just cutting up and rhyming at the same time, and he's just so overlooked.
Yeah, I think who is it that I heard recently? I heard a guy called Odyssey, and I don't know. It had J Live. It wasn't like J Live, but I felt the same vibes. It was like no one talks about Odyssey, but Odyssey has that. He makes really good beats
as well.
And I think J Live came out of me digging in the crates. It wasn't on my agenda. Like it wasn't really in front of me. But it's one of the things where you start reading.
Well, when I heard Bragging Rights first time, I was like, man. And then I found out that he's cutting up the doubles at the same time as he's writing. I don't know if he did that on the actual recorded track. But it's just, and there's so many tracks that are just, it's just so dope.
That's a strong top 5. It's a very strong top 5. So we're talking about art. Well, generally we're talking about art in hip hop. Is there any kind of album artwork that's always stuck out to you, or like something you fell in love with when you first saw it?
Well, again, like I say, the Wu-Tang Clan, because I love the mystique. But the one of the first album covers, all the artworks that stood in my mind, and although the track was rubbish, really, was Uprock by the Rocksteady Crew, because those did the cover.
Okay,
and my mates wanted me to copy that or do copies of that so many times. I must have drew it about 6-7 times, and it's a lot of work. But those did all these like typical Muggsy b-boy characters with big fat laces in their Pumas and Adidas and whatever, and shell toes and all that, and had all the members of the crew and Uprock in his style. And so that was the one that, my first one that wow, this is brilliant. But the track and whatever, it's not great. It was a real cheeseball, but the cover was brilliant. And that was the one. And the one, because we were talking about Wu, is the first cover just because of the mystique, and it looks so like mysterious, and man, it's just like, what is this?
Even the inlay. When you go into the inlay and they're like lying down with the hoodies up, you're like, who is this? No, it's good. So have you noticed any trends or anything like that's kind of become a thing now in artwork, or just general hip hop art? Have you seen there's a bit more of this than there wasn't before? Or
no? I don't keep it on my radar. There's a lot of rubbish. There's a lot of
what winds you up?
Yeah, just the usual. If it's not really, doesn't have to be crafted or painstakingly sort of created, but a lot of obviously the digital thing is a tool. My preference is traditional, but I still use digital as a tool because it's a brilliant tool. But just crap design, just bad composition.
Yeah.
Just the usual stuff. I mean, there's a lot of rubbish out there, but it's not on my radar because I'm not looking for the covers. I'm not thinking, what's the latest? Let me have a look at the latest covers. If it comes my way, I think, that's all right.
Yeah. That's interesting. So when you go record shopping, I'm guessing you still go record shopping, do you?
Not really, no.
Because you sold your vinyl, didn't you?
I didn't sell all of it.
No?
I could still rock a good set, by the way. Cough. But over half of it, because I had a bit of an epiphany in 2012 and thought I just need to get rid of all this materialistic crap, which didn't really work. But, I put a bit of effort into it. But I just called up Ewan from Rare Kind, and every couple of months he'd come round and take, a couple of crates or whatever off me. Yeah. Or, 200-300 records or whatever, if you're not talking in crates. But so a lot of that's gone.
Okay.
But I'm easy because I was spreading myself so thin. How can I just DJ, bring up a family, I can't spread myself thin. So it's all about sort of streamlining a bit nowadays. But
okay, that's good. Yeah, I understand that. Completely understand that. Yeah. I think because like these record stores that you talk about, like I feel like vinyl. Obviously, everyone knows it's had a bit of a boom when it's come back now and all that. But I do feel like the fact that younger people I know have vinyl, and when you do listen to older 90s hip hop now on vinyl, you realise, it really is quite timeless. Like especially the producers like Pete Rock and Premier as well, like their stuff is just like, and Dr. Dre's stuff still, I don't know whoever engineered it, but it still bangs. Like it really does do well. So on that tip, is there any hip hop artist who would say it's aged the best after all these years? Because this culture is 40 years old?
I can't, because to me, again, if I think, this is timeless, to someone else who's 20 years younger, they'll think this is just some old
But do
stuff.
you, personally? Is there anything personally?
I can't. Well, for me, that resonates for me that I couldn't stop playing back then, and I still get a lot of joy from listening now. I mean, the list is quite long.
Let's go. Hear it. Let's go. I'm up for it, Dan.
Tough Crew, Wreck Shop. I mean, some lyrically, sometimes, I mean, what the subject matter or whatever, but just for the essence of what it is there and then and what it was or whatever, is just brilliant. But, Diamond D, Stunts Blunts, it was Freestyle Fellowship. Yeah. The first album, although it was quite left field. Well, now people call it left field. Back then, it was just another album. Yeah, they just didn't have to categorise everything to shift units, or you should listen to this is a bit left wing. It's just as hip hop, it's rap. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, Gangstar, Step in the Arena.
Oh yeah. Wow. I listened to that the other day. It was really good.
Yeah. Both Quest's, the Tribe Called Quest's first 2 albums hit me harder. I would say the first one was brilliant, and the second one is just, oh my god.
Yeah. Iconic artwork as well. Iconic artwork, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Obviously, Woo, 36 Chambers, Day of the Soul Was Dead. I preferred that more than the first album.
Oh really?
I think,
okay.
Which is probably sounds a bit odd to some people, but I think when the first album came out, maybe I was still more into aesthetic and that b-boy aesthetics more than just like take it something completely different. And maybe because it had such an impact, like commercially, they got into the charts and all that, I got a bit rebellious, and then when it gets to the charts, I was not into it as much. So, anyway, De La Soul Was Dead. Lisa New School first, first album. Was it A Future Without Past? Nas, Illmatic. Obviously, Main Source, Breaking Atoms.
Oh man, Nas is on that as well, isn't he? I think.
Yeah. It was 16 or something at the time. Yeah,
that's scary.
Yeah,
that much talent at 16.
Well, LL Cool J, I think he released Radio when he was 16.
Yeah,
as well.
That's true.
You think a lot of them pick up the mic. You got that testosterone tearing through your body. You're gonna
you go for it.
Far Side, Bizarre Ride, and the second as well. Lab Cap. Yeah, that's right. Brand New, Been All For One.
Mate, this is a brilliant list. This is a great list.
You can tell I'm reading from a list.
No, but
I had to, because I'd forget.
You forget.
I'm tired, aren't I? Remember, I've got to remind myself I'm tired. Edutainment, BDP.
Oh yeah.
Which was I was painting a lot of graffiti around then, so that was Brand Nubian, and that were always in my headphones. X-Clan's first LP.
Okay.
What was that?
I don't think I've heard that.
To the East, Blackwoods.
Okay.
Like that. Lord Finesse, Funky Technician, I remember was the first album I bought in 1990. I thought, welcome to 1990. This is my first purchase.
So that was your first 1990s album?
Funky Technician,
okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's a great album. And Organised Confusion.
Oh, man, fair
there's so many, man.
Fair
OC, Philadelphia Roots.
Oh, man, yeah.
KMD, Mr. Hood. I love that album with Doom.
So you knew Doom from before he was
KMD.
Doom, yeah. Okay.
Because to be honest, I sort of like to say, I went right into the b-boy thing and the roots and digging for break beats and just getting really sort of obsessed with that, sort of having contact with sort of my good friend like Break DJ Lacey, who sadly passed, but he was a big influence on he stopped all latest releases. I can't be bothered with that. I'm just going to go straight backwards, just listen to Africa Islam, pick out what beats he was rocking and just research that and play. You know what I mean? Just
very interesting.
Yeah, it's very. It got very deep, and so that sort of happened to me in the after '95, because I went to Battle of the Year in Germany, and the b-boy scene out there was brilliant.
Yeah,
they sort of kept it alive a lot more, I'd say, than the UK. And so, I know I'm jumping all over.
No, but I'm saying, so you've been Germany as well.
So when it comes to the radio, I mean, picking up the latest stuff, it really slowed down because I was sort of getting more into the break beats and still getting, releases, a lot of independent white labels and all that, because I was still doing the radio. But it was very hard for me just to pick. So going back to Doom, this is why, because I got more into the b-boy thing. I wasn't too fussed about picking up the latest stuff. So when Doom was super popular, I wasn't getting snooty about it, but I love KMD and the first Black Bastards and all that album as well.
Yeah.
And then I got so entrenched into the b-boy thing, I wasn't too fussed about getting it was off the radar
See,
again.
it's really fascinating that, because
So-
Doomsday's the thing that got me into Doom.
Yeah, and then I sort of, I was a slow, and then I started to pick it up a bit when I left the b-boy scene a bit more, leaving New York,
Yeah.
then got back into it a little bit here and there, because obviously family started as well.
For sure.
So, yeah. So I think hopefully that answered your question.
No, it did.
Was there a question in the first place? I don't think. Yeah.
I think these things meander. It's great.
Tired myself out with that. God.
Yeah, but it's really interesting. What I find about that is the fact that you can say, like, there's this. I always try to nail it. Like, what is this thing that we had when we grew up, which was like anti-bling? Like, we would hate anything bling. In the middle to late 90s, we'd be like, no. And it's fascinating. There was that subculture to hip hop. And now I feel like everyone's very accepting of everything. You can do adverts, you can sell things, you can talk about certain products in your rhymes. And I remember Jay-Z...
Because it's so established, that's why. I think the roots, there's no doubt that it's got very strong roots and it's very established. And I suppose because of that platform, you can just jump off and do something else now.
Yeah, it's true. Really good. Sorry, Dan, did you have something else?
Common Sense, Resurrection.
Oh, yeah.
Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Mecca and the Soul Brother.
Oh, yeah. Probably the best voice in hip-hop, right? CL Smooth.
Yeah, that's it for me at the moment. Yeah.
Dan's list goes on and on, but I love it. It's great. You can tell he's been a DJ. He's got too many to go with.
God, yeah.
So, Dan, is there any other projects you're working on at the moment?
The Ego Strip book, which... I've written about 16,000 words and there's probably about another 10 left. But it's the first 2 years of the project from 2014. So probably, maybe 2-3 volumes. I mean, I don't know, but I'm still methodically plodding through, writing the description and the inspiration for each illustration just to give it a good platform. And what I spoke about earlier, some of the more cosmic stuff which might get overlooked, so I'm sort of just delving into that, or trying my best, because I draw pictures for a living, which I've suggested in the book. I don't write books, so it's very hard.
Is it going to be like one of them
very
big
difficult.
Is it going to be one of them big heavy like table art books?
Probably,
because that's what I want. As soon as I saw this, I thought I need a book. I need this in a big book. Put on the table and be like,
it would probably be close to sort of Hip Hop Files, Martha Cooper's Hip Hop Files, that sort of size book.
I don't know
which was
that
a
book.
It's great book.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the photographer who did Subway Art, a lot of Martha Cooper with Henry Chalfont. So she's from that era of documenting a lot of but Hip Hop Files is a brilliant book.
Okay.
So it's going to be that size probably. I might have to compromise on the size because it is getting so expensive. I'm getting quotes from printers. So it was going to be 12 high by 10 wide, 10 by 12. I might have to just go down an inch or something. Page count, it's going to be under 200 pages. So it's going to be quite a hefty book. That's the first 2 years of it. So
is that volume 1 then?
Volume 1, the first 2 years, yeah.
And when's that coming? Do we know?
Just maybe Christmas, 2019 Christmas time, maybe. I don't know. Just a lot of factors to think about.
I will keep looking out for it.
Keep on bugging Raekwon to pull his proverbial thumb out. He's never going to listen to this, is he? So I can just say,
You never know. Raekwon, get on it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, but I've got J Live writing as well.
Oh, brilliant!
It just really good. Gives it a little bit more weight.
For sure.
If it doesn't happen, then it's cool. I can just, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen.
As Raekwon said, mate, it's on the streets. So if the streets are listening,
he said it's reciprocal. So that love. So I put the effort in. He's got to put the effort in for me now.
That's it.
All right.
That's it, Dad. I like it.
So we'll see.
So was there a
tumbleweed moment? Oh my God! It's been 2 months now. I'm still waiting.
Still waiting.
What else? Unannounced Raekwon stuff, so I can't really talk about that. But
absolutely fine. But there could be
quite a few illustrations that I have created, and he's doing stuff with them. That's all I can say.
Oh yes, that would be great.
And with the Ego Strip illustration stuff, it's still ongoing, but I'm delving into more just different genres. So it was hip hop. Rap, Join the Dots, so Jimmy Castor, James Brown, and all this like David Axelrod.
Yeah.
And now it's going a bit more jazz, Ahmad Jamal, Kamasi, Washington, more, So I'm just
Kamasi, Washington would be...
Yeah, no, I've done it. This is great. He loved it. And so
brilliant.
It was brilliant.
I think I saw this actually on Instagram. Yeah, I think I saw you doing Kamasi on there. So, yeah. Oh, brilliant, yeah.
So that's still going well. I'm still doing my video game concept art for sure, which is, is one of the main things I do to support my family. But I think I want to try and pull out that a little bit more and try and be a bit more self-sufficient in my own stuff, really.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. There's always little bits and pieces here and there, but it's mainly just ego strip stuff. And one day I'll get back into my graphic novel that I stopped because my lovely friend, who's incredibly busy, has yet to finish the script.
Oh, it's a collaborative, isn't it? It's a collaborative.
So I have to wait for him just to jump back on it again. But that's going to be very... I can't think of the word, but it's a lot of work to do, let's put it that way. So,
okay, I'm looking forward to that. That should be good.
Yeah, I mean, it got published in French first because we love the whole culture of the bande dessinée and the graphic novels out there.
Yeah.
So it got published in France first, and then it will get published. When I pull my finger out and do book 2, it'll get published in England.
Good stuff.
Which I can't wait for, but hopefully that'll get done before 2025. And, because I've been waiting, I've been very patient.
Okay.
But that's a huge project, which I can't touch now until this ego strip book is out, which would be really nice.
Okay. No, looking forward to that, Dan. Really
Thank you.
But thank you for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
And keep doing your work, man. Keep doing it. Honestly, it's absolutely brilliant.
Thanks
no worries. Cheers.
See ya.
And there we go. That was Mr. Dan Lish. Yes, the hip-hop illustrator who's taking the art to a different level. So yes, man, go out there, show him some love, show him some support, go on Instagram, check him out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that Raekwon collab, the second Raekwon collab, definitely. So here we are again, the end of another episode. I hope you enjoyed it. So obviously, if you want to follow us, check us out on Twitter at crate808 or Instagram at crate_808, or check us out on Facebook, our website, crate808.com. And yeah, just show us some love. Always loving the feedback, loving just having new listeners, just telling us what they think, what they like. Everyone's got different tastes, so we realise we do some debates, people like that. Some people like the guests, some people just like us chatting shit. Either way, we out here, man, we out here. And there's going to be some more episodes coming up, and we try to keep this consistent if possible. And yeah, man, that's it for another episode. I shall see you on the flip side. So take it easy. Boom.